All right, so I want to share a little story about launching my new business and the things that came up when I went to do that. And for context, I'm talking about yesterday. And so for a long time now, I, like most likely yourself, has been on the healing journey and have been facing a lot of my shadow and a lot of my past and a lot of my thoughts and beliefs and all of this stuff. And as of yesterday, I'm on the kind of eve of putting together a flyer that I'm going to post around town, refining bits on my website and trying to get bookings in order so that somebody could book online, figuring out what kind of platform to host a video call, all of those things that maybe resonate with you guys in terms of all the logistics you need to work out for your business. And in this context, I'm talking about a therapy, coaching, consultation, guidance business, in addition to a sound healing practice. And so I'm working on a little flyer and that I was going to post around town, looking for people to help me with the kind of final phase of a diploma program I'm working on. So I have some case studies to do for sound healing and some introductory therapy, kind of free 15-20 minute consultations and or people to help me kind of beta test the therapy platform. So this is a brand new thing for me. I haven't done this before. Obviously there's feelings and thoughts and beliefs that come with all of this, and these things can trigger a lot within us about who we are and what we're capable of, and for me, a lot of self-worth issues and so on and so forth. But I wanted to bring this up because I've spent the last 6 years in earnest on an immense healing journey, an immense hero's journey, several dark nights of the soul, just a complete collapse of ego, a total loss of friends, a total geographic relocation, all the telltale signs of a massive awakening and a massive transformation. And I've spent a lot of those 6 years in solitude, finding myself, finding my center, finding my balance, finding my purpose, all of these things. And so all of that has brought us to the current moment, and here I am about to launch this thing. And in those 6 years, I have purged an unbelievable amount of trapped emotions. I have brought daylight to so much of my shadow, and I've grown and I've learned, and generally speaking, feel 5,000 times better than I felt 6 years ago. And, the healing journey is something we're going to be on our whole life and many lifetimes to come. So this isn't something that we are looking to find a destination for. But there is a point in the healing journey that a bulk of work has occurred that unlock the ability to access the next levels and the next timelines that wouldn't have been available if the stuck energy and if the loops and if the boulders were still being carried. You wouldn't really be able to progress to new levels. And so with that in mind, I truly had thought I had dealt with so many of the themes, and I'll be specific: self-worth, criticism, both externally and internally, judgment, both externally and internally, all of these things, right? So anyway, I'm going to do this thing, and I didn't even realize how much was coming up and how much resistance was in the field, and how much resistance clearly has been in the field for years, which has led to me not doing this prior to now, which in hindsight, when this is going to all be said and done, is going to seem insane to me, because it's truly my calling and my purpose, and yet it's the thing that I most had blockages perhaps, or resistance to. And so, as I'm imagining putting up these flyers, and as I'm thinking about the language I'm putting up on these flyers, all these things begin to get triggered. And reminding you, this is yesterday, so I'm still in this. I haven't posted the flyer. I'm working on the flyer. But all of this came up. And all of a sudden, my entire lifetime, effectively showed back up in real time to present as an enormous boulder to my progress. And what was coming up, and again, we're talking about effectively like a healing practice, an energy practice, whether that's through sound, whether that's through therapy or a psychological faculty. This would be the practice that I'm entering into. So the things that started to get flagged within me, I realized were related to my childhood and my upbringing, and how much this part of me was discouraged as a child, and deeply so. I was so sensitive, I was so intuitive, I was so cosmically oriented that it wasn't met well within my family or my friend or my peer or my how do we say this, teachers, bosses, that kind of authority layer that we deal with when we're young and all through life, really. But that authority layer was one of the most resistant to this particular part of me. And as so happens with so many of us, we're so impressionable when we're young, and these things really deeply affect us in those early years and in those teenage years. And they can really act to run blockages. They can discourage, they can create resistance within, they can make you question yourself, they can make you, doubt your intuition, doubt your knowing, doubt your, personal identification system. And through that, which is effectively what happened to me, I did what so many of us do, and just wanted to fit in and wanted to be accepted, and didn't want to be the weird guy, the cosmic, the extra-dimensional, extraterrestrial, past life, energy, intuition, psychic, whatever, any of these terms, they were not favorable at the time. So you hide them, you tuck them in, you pop them into your shadow, and you keep moving, because you know what? You just want to have some friends at school. You just want to get invited to the birthday party, and you just want to have a normal life, and you want to, you want girls to like you. You want these things, you just do what you got to do. And what ends up happening is you defer these things, either for decades or for an entire lifetime. So, right, I knew that, and I thought that I had looked at those things, and that I had come in and, purged those limited beliefs and released them, and created new sets of beliefs and thoughts, which I have. But man, there are still so many stones unturned. And as something as simple as creating a flyer for this kind of business triggered so much in me, and made me wonder, like, why am I so timid with this? Why am I so, I don't want to say ashamed. I'm not ashamed by any means, but I'm not as defiantly proud as I would be, with so many other things that I've done in this life. I've been very shy about this part of my life, and I don't wear it on my chest and say, yes, I am a therapist, or I am an intuitive guidance counselor, or I am a sound healer, or I am these. I just haven't defiantly sat there and said it. And yet I would, in the past, very easily be able to say, oh yes, I'm a cafe owner, or I work for in the music industry for a record label, or I XYZ, right? Why it was easier to say that I did do those things and wear those things with a little bit of badge of honor and pride, and yet this stuff kind of, like, get a little like this. Yeah, maybe I do a little bit of this, if that's cool, if that's all right. Wow, right? So you can feel it, you can see it, you can hear it. It's like there are some things inside of me that have not moved, that need to move in order to clear the path for this new reality. And I'm sharing it because as quickly as it showed up, I began to deal with it. As quickly as I noticed it, I began to examine it. And, to me, this is the healing process. To me, it starts with noticing these things coming up and becoming the observer of your own life and being like, hang on a second, something's off here. Looking at them and quickly realizing, wow, all those discouraging moments as a child, all those people that said that I wasn't who I said I was, and that I wasn't able to do those things that I was able to do, or that don't believe in healing arts, energetic arts, spiritual arts, or phenomenology, people that don't believe in any of this and only believe in the 3D physical world. I've let them run dominion on my existence. I've let them, and that mindset, cloud and steer this vessel and this ship, which is not going to be an option moving forward. So to anybody that needed to hear this, that might be on a similar path or dealing with some similar things coming up, please let me know, because it's always good to know you're not alone. But I just want you to know, like, these things come up, you notice them, and you start to be like, right, this relates to those adults when I was a child that made fun of me for my interests in these fields. This is parents, family, or whoever that made you feel that you couldn't make a career, or you couldn't make money, or that this stuff wasn't real. These are all these things coming up which make you feel not worthy, make you feel like you are a fraud, a phony, that this isn't, this stuff's not real, and that you shouldn't therefore be able to be paid for it or paid well for it. It triggers all of these things. It's triggering the self-worth. It's triggering money scarcity. It's triggering the relationship between money, value, and yourself, and the value that you bring and provide to a situation, and that has a money balancing amount that can be exchanged for your energy. It just depletes that. It makes you feel like here you are with all these things, you show up and it's a zero. You're a quack, you're woo-woo, you are all these things, and assigning value or monetary value or even professionalism to that is not real. It's not okay. Well, we know that it is. We know that people are out here doing it, but I just wanted to be open about the fact that I haven't felt that way. I haven't felt that that could be for me, even though I knew it's been for me my whole life, but for some reason I was, I am my own gatekeeper here, right? I was letting voices of the past continue to run interference on my journey from here forward. So I'm not going to do that. I realize it. I'm, I do a lot of kind of muscle testing, trapped emotion, limited belief, finding, and then muscle testing, confirming, and then releasing. That if you want to know more about, check out Dr. Bradley Nelson. Like his emotion code stuff is really dope. And, I kind of learned that years ago in a self-study, and have used it hundreds of times to find, acknowledge, and release trapped emotions. So again, for more, check out Dr. Bradley Nelson. Super helpful stuff. You start to then like develop your muscle testing and your ability to communicate with that part of your subconscious, and you can really move through old limiting beliefs and thoughts within you. You can move through those, identify and release them very, very quickly, and it starts to clear the path. It starts to make things a lot easier, and you can move through what used to be decades of crap. You can move through in 24 hours, and that's that's all I'm here to show up and tell you about. Is like, this has all been 24 hours for me, and I'm moving forward as if those shadows of the past that were present yesterday are no longer with me. Or I'll just simply sidestep my own avatar, my own incarnation. I'll just sidestep it, move into my source mode where I'm the observer, and I'll bang out the flyer, and I'll bang out all the stuff I'm afraid to do in this avatar. I'll just kind of move my existence over for a second and just be pure source, knowing that, this is my path and I'm meant to do this. So then I'll bang out the flyer. I'll do the things that I'm afraid to do in this body. I'll do that stuff over there, get it all set up and blah, 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 blah. And then I'll phase back into the avatar and be like, all right, well, I guess what's coming is what's coming. And I'll handle that when I get to it. But I definitely use like phasing in and phasing out of the identity of the incarnation to help me stay on that kind of soul journey and that path that's not afraid. Because source, there is no fear. It's all love. There is no fear. Fear is a product of, at least for us in this reality, this dimension and this way of thinking and this identification. So I hope somebody needed to hear that. I hope that's helpful. And that's all I got for now. Love you guys. Peace.